But I remember our COO for like years would be like, "Happy Friday." And I'm like, "I can't live this down.
Wait. What day is it?
What?
Friday."
Right.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
I'm good. What's been going on in your world?
Well, we were at the same show last night,
I know.
both at NoahCon. I was up in the nosebleeds, and you were basically on stage.
I was not. I was, I was like in the boxes, which was not on the field. The people on the field were like up close. But
Okay, I thought you were in the center pit.
other than being so hot,
So hot.
it was a great show.
It's a great show. It was
The my daughter's going off to college in like a month, so we're kind of prepping with everything, and the whole the theme of the concert is the Great Divide, and all of the songs are about leaving your family. So like, my daughter's like tearing up during the show. Like it was a lot, but it was a good way to spend some quality time together.
were there a lot of hugging, a lot of crying?
A lot of hugging, a lot of crying. Yeah, but it was fun. But today we have a great guest today, Lisa Nucci, who's the CMO of Choose Chicago, which is essentially like the tourism bureau for the city of Chicago. And, I think she'd love that we're talking about all the great things going on in Chicago.
Oh, yeah, all the great things in Chicago. It's funny, like watching all of that campaign. They always talk about music, like Chicago
Yeah.
music, Chicago. It's so true. I've got 6 relatives coming in next week, and they're like, "Where should we go see music?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, just like listing them off. Like you can't not see music when you're here.
Yeah. I think, well, summer in Chicago, there's no better place on the planet, I think. And people have been asking me a lot, like, so where are you going this summer? What are you going to be doing? And I, I mean, you know me, I'm going on trips all year round, except in the summer. We usually do something. So
Yeah.
we are going to go up to Wisconsin for a long weekend, but
Yeah.
I feel like the reason I live in Chicago is because of the summer, not the winter. So
Absolutely.
I like to really soak it all in and enjoy it.
Yeah. And Lisa's work is just a Chicago resume that
Yeah.
is makes people jealous. It's so good. She's been with the Bulls, Chicago
Yeah.
Architecture Center, Choose Chicago. I
She's
can't, by the
kinda
way,
like
I'm gonna have a hard
Chicago
time.
royalty. She's kind of like Chicago royalty
Kind of. Yeah. Well,
because
she's like
she's actually
guiding it.
everything she does is trying to improve like how Chicago looks and what it's doing and the direction it's headed. It's really cool.
Right. Can we say the Bulls? Like how can we not? Like
Doubles.
okay, we have
Doubles.
to.
We have to.
She's also, she's been involved in a lot of crisis management, which
Oh.
living in Chicago, we're kind of always, we're under scrutiny, and we always will be. So, doing tourism for a city that is under scrutiny, it is kind of crisis management, and turning
Yeah.
it into a positive is cool.
I've had the luxury of getting to know Lisa just a little bit over the last couple of years. I actually met her sister first.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, her sister's a marketer also, right?
She's
CMO?
also a CMO. And I met her when she was the CMO of Claire's, and
Oh,
she
yeah.
she joined the board of AMA Chicago, and they were both speaking at Brand Smart at another Chicago, you know, destination, Navy Pier in the Grand Ballroom,
Mhm.
and they brought their parents.
Of
So
course.
I met
Like,
their parents.
that's an amazing parent moment.
So they were both speaking at this, Brand Smart's like a big deal. So
Right.
they're both speaking, and why not have mom and dad show up? So we're gonna have a great conversation. I'm curious to hear about how she was able to kind of pull together this amazing career of Chicago royalty and get a little behind the scenes action on it.
Cool. Looking forward to it.
Hello and welcome to Marketing Outtakes, where we talk about the behind the scenes stories of marketing campaigns and careers. These are the moments when inspiration struck, you made that last minute decision that changed everything, or you took the hard left turn that never made it to the highlight reel.
We're your hosts. I'm Chris Scullis,
And I'm Chris McGuire.
and we're from McGuffin Creative Group. Today we have Lisa Nucci on the pod. Lisa is the CMO of Choose Chicago, and she's going to talk with us today about her impressive career shaping brand purpose for Chicago institutions like the Bulls, Architecture Center, and Choose Chicago, as well as some behind the scenes insight into her award winning campaigns. Welcome, Lisa.
Hey guys,
Hey.
excited to be here.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're a podcast pro with your own podcast.
Barely.
So we're excited to have you. How we start, we like to start by pulling back the curtain a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about your career. So any Chicagoan would look at your resume and see the list of dream Chicago companies that you work for and may consider you maybe a little bit of Chicago royalty.
Oh goodness.
For the Chicago Bulls, I mean, epic, the Chicago Architecture Center, and now Choose Chicago. Can you tell us a little bit about, like, did you grow up in Chicago or in the suburbs? Like, how did Chicago become you, or how did it all happen?
How did little Lisa come to be? Well, it's just I've never actually like looked back at my career. I just keep going,
Right.
right? So I very much appreciate and honored for you all to say such nice things about me. So I'm from the south side of Chicago. When I get angry, you can definitely hear that south side accent just thriving. My family is a bunch of very hard workers, nothing on a silver spoon. My dad comes from a long line of police officers and firefighters, and my mom, it's a very big family, north and south side divided, and
Okay.
they fell in love, and they had 3 kids. Very much involved in sports and team activities all throughout my childhood. But the thing that I loved the most growing up is I was a really creative kid, a little bit of a weirdo, I guess is what you would say. And I ultimately ended up following that passion to University of Iowa, and I was a dance major. I know I can
Wow,
still cut a rug.
that comes in
This
handy, I'm
is
sure.
this is what we get from this podcast, is like
Listen,
these things
my
that don't
playlist.
always they're not direct lines, right?
Yeah, and so people are always like, "Huh," and I'm like, "It makes sense, I promise." And I think I just liked being, like, within the creative space and with other people who were in theater and arts and all of that, but I think my parents were like, "You're literally gonna make no money in this. Like, you're good, but you're not that good,
All right.
Lisa." So I ended up having a comms major, journalism minor, and a dance minor, okay?
Oh,
So I really struggled, like, coming out of college because all my friends had, like, a nursing degree, a teacher's degree, and, like, it's hard because you don't have a profession
Right.
when you have such broad stroke majors, and I ended up landing, like, a very cool gig working at a small agency downtown, working on media buying, and I
Oh,
got to work on media buying for, like, Paramount Studios,
okay.
Universal Studios, Searchlight, all those, for major movie studios out of LA and, New York, and I loved it was, like, for Mean Girls, War of the Worlds, like, those Lara
cool.
Croft Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Anyways, we were, like, executors, and I wanted to be at the beginning of, like, when a movie decides who their target audience is and what markets they're gonna advertise
Right.
in, I wanted to be in that room and not in the doer
Right.
room, and so that kind of snowballed into me looking for roles that allowed me to be more part of a brand planner. At the time, I didn't know.
You wanted to build the story that got told, not put the story where it needed to be told.
Yeah, exactly, and I just felt like I was just more curious with how things were made and kind of the creative process of building out a brand and then seeing it through to execution. So that's kind of the beginning of it all.
And so, how did you land at the Bulls?
Like, the interview prep for that job was so interesting. So they were at the time, they were looking for someone that had nonprofit experience and brand experience, and I was working at United Way, which if
Yeah.
anyone is ever in marketing and they can just have a stint in nonprofit, it truly is such a good
Yeah.
experience. I always say, like, having a little agency experience and nonprofit is, like, a really good mix, and the Bulls were looking for someone not within sports that had kind of my interesting mix. And my interview prep wasn't like, how do you build a marketing campaign? It was like, who's on the team? Like, I was like, I have to study this. Like, it was Derek Rose. I mean, I knew it. And my dad thought that he was like, they're going to find you out. But they knew exactly what I brought and what I didn't. And, I think that my ability to look beyond the X's and O's of the Bulls truly is why I stayed for so long. And it's such an incredible organization. And they were invested in, building that next fan and what that looks like. It doesn't look like
Oh,
how it did when we grew up. So, that's how I landed that job.
what was your favorite memory of working at the
The
Bulls?
Bulls. So many. I mean, I think that the team is so invested in Chicago youth. And so there were so many special moments at Lurie Children's Hospital
Mm.
and at the practice facility, really being able to give these kids, a once in a lifetime experience that, you know, I like always remember. But I think the biggest thing is sports is such a unifier. It's
Mhm.
such an emotional unifier. And so to be able to sit in the arena for every single game or to travel on the road and kind of see that, it energizes you to just constantly make sure you're doing the best work that you can.
Yeah, it's
When
good.
you look at those, like your marketing plans and the things that you're trying to do, what was kind of your goalpost?
When I started, the team, obviously like teams go like this, right? And you
Yeah.
would see revenue go up when everything's good. And then when you're bad, it goes down. And in the office, it kind of followed a very similar thing. And so my biggest goal was to create a North Star for the organization that beyond X's and O's, anyone from ticketing to HR to marketing knew what the goal was. And so I started out creating a marketing campaign, but it quickly pivoted like, we don't need a marketing campaign. We needed a purpose for the organization. And it was a very long process of talking to like John Paxson and Scottie Pippen and Michael Reinsdorf and like kids that, came up through the Bulls. And we all ultimately created this brand purpose called to inspire and unite people through legendary experiences. And we
Okay.
knew at the Bulls that only the Bulls could do that. No other team can do that in any sport. And so that's what we did every day
Good.
is tried to figure that out. And that means sometimes you win and that sometimes you lose. But
Sure.
everyone knew that we had the ability to create those moments and customize those based on who that fan was.
To make
So that was my goalpost at the end of the day.
Yeah, so having brand purpose, like you kind of built it there at the Bulls,
Yeah.
but it seems to follow throughout your career. Is that something you carry with you, or are you seeking it out, or are you going places and building it?
I don't know if it's by nature, but a lot of the roles that I've taken, there's something that's going on in the industry or within the brand or with competition that somehow that brand has lost its way or lost its relevancy, right? When I worked on Ulta, it was when, you had brick and mortars like CVS
Right.
offering the same quality as Ulta. When I worked at Friendly's Ice Cream when I was on the agency, it was moms wanted the healthier option and Friendly's no longer fit the bill. When I worked at the Bulls, it was like, how are we generating the next level of fans when Michael Jordan's not coming through?
Right.
And same thing with shoes. And so I'm always brought in to like create a marketing thing, but it's quickly not solved by marketing, right? Like any marketer would say, I'm not going to put a band-aid on this. And so the research and their approach always ends up me backing out and being more of like a strategic partner to what is the long-term vision of this organization, getting stakeholders around that and being like, uh-huh. And then I take that and I lead with marketing and call it brand purpose, call it North Star, call it whatever you want.
Mhm.
But I never want to say marketing can solve something
Right.
as dynamic and complicated as that.
Yeah, especially like what you're doing with Choose Chicago is
Yeah.
really great, and I think as a Chicagoan, it just makes us all really proud
Oh,
because
good.
I
Yes.
mean, it was kind of a punch back at the rest of the country, which we kind of needed,
Yeah.
and having that brand purpose instead of like doing the standard, hey, come eat our food, come see our skyline, like it has a little bit of an edge to it, which
Swagger. It's
what
got
was that?
Yeah.
swagger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good, and that idea of it does have a purpose. I mean, because it also stands true to as Chicagoans who we are.
Mhm.
Did you bring that? How did that come about?
Oh, so I think that's a great question. And, honestly, everybody wants to have a campaign that like supersedes marketing tagline, right? And so the biggest challenge that we had with Choose Chicago, is that it's incredibly competitive out there within destination marketing. Like I drive down 290, I see the Orlando billboard, it drives me crazy. Michigan's advertising everywhere. Like it's just, they're everywhere. I want everyone to look who listens to this podcast. Like literally they're everywhere. All these destinations are like coming for us to take our, our residents to visit their destinations. But the biggest thing about tourism that I think people don't know is that it creates jobs in Chicago.
Yeah.
So beyond the bright and shiny, like it's a huge economic driver. And so with our work that we did for Never Done, Never Outdone, it was as equal as trying to get people to know what you can do in Chicago, but at the same time define who we are as Chicagoans. And the who we are as Chicagoans has long been on the defense, of saying we are something that we're not, or trying to defend ourselves between people saying that we're violent,
Oh yeah.
that we are not a place you want to visit, war torn, what have you, regardless of where you sit lie politically. And so the campaign really centered around giving Chicagoans ability to talk about why our city is so dynamic and amazing,
Yeah.
and give them permission to tell that story and shake off that Midwest nice. So Never Done, Never Outdone just cascades across everything that you want to say about Chicago and the experience that you have here, brought by the people that live here.
That
Yeah.
swagger and confidence that I think we have, but like it's been hard to kind of refute all these things because people are telling us who we are, and we're like, that's not us. That's not who we are. That's not what we're about, and that's not what the city is.
So the brand purpose work that you've been doing, has it changed the culture? I mean, there's one thing about it being a good marketing campaign. Like that's one thing, is like going out and telling a great story and believing in something. But do you feel like having a purpose has changes the culture of the places you go?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. Like, when I started, and I think that this is a natural thing for any organization. You got like sales, V marketing,
Right.
right? And then you got finance in the middle, and no one understands everyone's problems. And when you're able to create something that you said, I listened to you, I walked everyone down the same hallway and I closed all the doors
Yeah.
and we entered in the final door together, it creates an ability to center around one common theme, and it makes people feel like marketing's there to be a supportive cast member for them to achieve their goals.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we want to do. We want marketing not to just be like, it's not just lipstick. Like you want it to be at least telling the truth. And if you
Yeah.
can,
I mean, I wish it was that.
oh,
Like, I
right.
wish we just could be like, I can create some snazzy graphics, but it's just deeper than that. It's like a
Right.
little bit of a therapist in some ways. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of the underbelly of it, of the organization. And when you can have something that everyone can rally around, I think that's what brings everybody together, and it creates that ability to move forward as a group instead of as individuals. And if
Yeah.
you don't have that, it becomes very scattered and confused.
Right.
Yeah. 100%.
And it helps determine who your audience is. Like if you climb a mountain and put a flag in and say, hey, this is what we stand for. And then people who don't want it don't have to go. But if it's like you believe, you'll climb the mountain to be there.
Yeah. I think sometimes when you do this work, it also like allows anybody to like turn a chapter, step up,
Yeah.
want like there are people that embraced this or understood it more than I thought that they would. And so I think it just kind of brings people together too, which is always nice.
Cool.
So on marketing outtakes, we like to talk about what we call the cutting room floor. So it's the experiences that don't always make the highlight reel. You've mentioned
Ooh.
the fact that you've worked for some, we'll call them inconsistent brands over the years,
Yes.
and the amount of crisis management and risk that comes with that.
Hmm.
Can we dive into that a little bit, and like what does that mean, and any recommendations you have to counteract that?
Yeah. Well, what it reminds me of is like, when you talk about like brand affinity, right? So what we would say a lot at the Bulls and in sports is that like a kid picks their team by the time they're 7. So if like you don't get to that kid, somehow you've lost it. And I would argue that it's probably a lot earlier, but you could apply that rule of thought to anything, right? A kid goes to Orlando for vacation when they're 5,
Yeah,
a kid tries Rice Krispies over Frosted Mini Wheats because they saw some cool collab. So this race to get to whoever the purchaser is and the family changes. Um, the audience, it's everything is constantly in flux. But one thing that I found is really helpful, and I don't know if this is answer your question, is to like get ahead of like where your organization stands on topics, right? So like it's really hard to not be on either side or to walk the line. Like just be true to where you are, have a point of view on certain things. So when things come up, you can be riskier, right?
Yeah.
Because there's an element of speed. And like one of my favorite things that I saw was, did you see? I'm not calling them out because I think it's a great idea, and I love the folks at McDonald's, but the McDonald's CEO like took the little bite of the cheeseburger.
Yup.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I saw that and like didn't think anything of it.
Right.
I was just like, whatever. And then cut to the Burger King CEO and the Wendy's CEO just
Yeah.
like devouring it. There was an element of super speed to that, right? And
Yeah.
that was the agency's ability to understand like where the brand could risk it, versus saying like, I have an idea. Like you had so that type of stuff I think could have been a great idea, but if people didn't understand like the DNA of a brand,
Right.
that you would have never seen it. It's like one of my favorite things that someone has done.
There's got to be
Um,
a little bit of like, you got that gut check, but then you got to have like this sixth sense of whether or not how's it going to go?
I will tell you that I was just talking about this. At the Bulls, we had like a ton of families that would come to games that like didn't have a great matchup. And I wanted to do like cheaper deals on food. So I went to ownership and I pitched this whole concept called Fry Yay.
Okay.
I was committed to this idea. Fry Yay. I had like graphics. And so like get it fries, Fry Yay, Fry Day. And it was like free fries. And at the time I was running the kids club and like I think you were like, is she okay? And I'm like, I just think it's great. Like free fries, like do it. And so what came out of that was the starting five menu where all of these items were
Oh,
$5. But if I had not gone in and pitched Frye, the starting five menu would have never been there. So
there
it's
you
on
go.
the cutting room floor for good reason.
I don't think it's a bad idea. Like, I mean, but you compromise $5 versus free. That's not bad.
But like I remember our COO for like years would be like, Happy Friday. And I'm like, I can't live this down.
Mike. What day is it?
What?
Friday.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, can we talk a little bit more about the Bulls?
Yeah.
'Cause I think our audience would love to hear this. Back in 2020, we had the NBA All-Star Game. You were
Yeah.
there during it, and there was the
Yeah.
Run With Us campaign. By the way,
Yeah.
some of the campaigns we're talking about, they'll be in the description below. So the NBA All-Star Game Run With Us campaign, like, can you talk a little bit about how that all came about? What was your role? What'd you do?
Yeah. So we at the Bulls have an I don't know if they still do, but I think they do. They have an in-house agency concept. So all the talent, everything you see, soup to nuts is all produced in-house. So like in terms of getting an education and how do you create content for MBA, it's great.
Yeah.
Speed, fast, whatever. So out of our purpose work, we created this campaign called With Us that ultimately evolved into Run With Us. And you could think about it in different ways, like run it with us on the court, you know, insert basketball analogy there, being with us for community things. And so we used it for many different reasons. But we ended up being the host for the 2020 NBA All-Star Game. And I think that the last time we had hosted it was when Michael Jordan was in the dunk contest. So it was a time, a time had passed. And so those opportunities really present any organization the chance to be put on a global spotlight. And so it gave us an opportunity to tell the world what the Bulls and Chicago was about.
Right.
And since they had really seen us from the Jordan eras and with us really created this opportunity to talk about how the city rallies around the team and how Bulls fans around the globe are part of this journey. So it was an incredibly exciting time for the organization. And then I think like a few months later, the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
So and then you had um the documentary that came out. I
Yeah.
can't remember what it was called, but like it was just like a lot of fun Bulls nostalgia matched with like future. So yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Common did an intro
Yeah.
I'm assuming who wrote that? It was so good. It was
Not not us. And I think the best thing about working with the league is like they really come in and try to customize the activations around the host city. And so Common, I think President Obama did something.
Right.
And so there were some things that I didn't even know about. And so as a fan, it was really exciting to see.
Talk a little bit about the Chicago Architecture Center.
Yeah.
Fun fact, MacGuffin hosted an event there right when it opened, like early in like, it must have been 2019, 2018, something like that.
mhm,
Yeah.
cool
Um,
space.
very cool space. And obviously central to Chicago. I mean, I think Chicago is known as the like architectural marvel of the world, really. That's
Yeah.
kind of puts us out there.
We're the inventor of the skyscraper.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's a fun fact for you. The coolest thing about working for that job, and when you talk about throughputs now, it's like architecture, our skyline, the boat tour, the neighborhoods, how those come together are truly one of the gems to sell Chicago now in my
Yeah.
current role. And so my time there was really tasked with how do you ensure that you tell the story of Chicago's architecture, but also you have the boat cruises and all of the walking tours and you have
Right.
the storytelling component. So I just learned so much about what it takes to curate those really technical experiences. And I think it was a great springboard for me to shift over to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meg Yulberg is one of our, she's on our leadership team at McGuffin, and she is a docent for the Chicago Architecture
I
Center.
mean,
Does walking
warriors,
tours. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
those
She loves it
people.
though. She loves it though.
It is such a cool, like I want, when I grow up, I want to be a docent.
Yeah.
They're
And
amazing.
I want to kind of shift gears a little bit and go back and talk about Choose Chicago. You
Great.
had some really amazing campaigns, and
Mhm.
as president of AMA Chicago, I've gotten to award you guys a lot of awards.
It felt great.
Oh yeah, like just recently, I think we need to pull up a truck to help you leave the building because you won, I think, 3 awards. You won Grand
Thanks.
Champion, Engagement, and Integrated Marketing, but not all for just the Never Done Outdone. You also won one for the All for the Love of Chicago as
Yeah.
well. So can you want to share a little bit
Yeah.
about those campaigns and how they've evolved, which one was first, and all of those things?
Yeah. I mean, what an honor. It was great. I remember like I was waiting for my car at valet and I felt like my awards were like my little triplets that I was bringing back to the office. I tried to take a really awkward photo with them and like I just didn't work. But no, so all for the love, truly like the work that we did with Never Done, Never Outdone, like the like painstaking talking and the research. The only reason All for the Love happened was because we did that front end work. Again, understanding kind of the pulse and lines of your brand. And it was right when the National Guard, ICE, like all of that started to become very tense in the city. And, we're such a convener brand. And we were like, we need to do something. People are reaching out to be like, I want to defend this. I don't know how. And so we, in 12 hours, got together in our president and CEO's office, Kristen Reynolds, who's amazing. And we came up with this concept called All for the Love of Chicago. And it was creating a space where we didn't have to defend a narrative. We could just tell the cool stories about the city.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And we launched it. And the next morning, I stood up in front of like all of our cultural partners at a comms roundtable that we had. And I said, look, like this is for you guys. And it's been insane. And like people are constantly posting videos, selfies, experiences, both visitors, not like just of people just showing like why they live here.
Right.
And there's been moments where we're like, I didn't think Jerry Azuma was going to send a video to us, or I didn't think Gandalf
Yeah.
was going to do it. And so it's just totally taken off. And I always say it's like the best cure for doom scrolling. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's at All for the Love of Chicago on Instagram, on TikTok, and other destinations that are going through similar situations, like use kind of that formula.
The I Heart New
Mm.
York thing, I mean, that goes way back, right? But that
Yeah.
was
That
also
was a
kind of
DMO campaign.
what's that?
That was a destination marketing
Yeah,
campaign.
because it
Yeah.
was like there was a lot of the similar rhetoric about New York at the time as being unsafe and dirty and gross and blah blah blah
Yeah.
and kind of getting people to get behind it and like show, well, no, we love our city. We this is I mean, it's
Yeah. And
similar themes, but different execution, like 100% different execution. We
yeah.
all have these, we now have technology and socials and things that we can spread messages. And I love that you just went out and asked these people if they would do these videos because, I always believe that if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Yeah.
So you just got to do it, right? You got to put yourself
Yeah.
out
And
there.
I don't even think it's funny. Like, it's a marketing campaign. It's not, I feel it's for Chicago, but it's not with like, book your trip today.
No, no,
There's
no.
none of that. It's
Right.
just literally getting out cool stories about the city and having people feature cool things that they do, which in a sense is how people are inspired to travel. But like I'll have friends tag like they're on a lakefront and they tag All for Love Chicago and they don't even know that I work on that campaign.
Get
Like
out.
they don't
That's
know.
cool.
And I don't tell them, but it's just like nice to kind of see it organically grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's been a good journey on that one.
You also had the 77, which is a city of neighborhoods, which was, I think, a different approach, just trying to drive traffic and interest, not just in like the heart of Chicago, but also in the 77 neighborhoods of Chicago.
Yeah.
Which is kind of
Yeah. And that was before my time. That was led i- in part by the neighborhoods team and working with our community partners. And it was just allowing us to do long story format content storytelling.
yeah.
Such a beautifully shot and curated project. And I was just excited to be part of when it launched. But truly, I think it helped create an outlet for people to say, I, I can talk about the good and bad and challenging and awesomeness of my neighborhood while also getting people curious to visit it.
Where do
Cool.
you see these campaigns going from here?
I don't know. I mean, I think Never Done, Never Outdone is like a toddler. It's like 18 months.
Yeah.
So you know what happens when they're toddlers. You don't know. And then
They
All
bang
for
their
the
heads a lot.
Love, they're persnickety. We have a lot of work to do with Never Done, Never Outdone. There's a huge opportunity for us to drive shoulder season travel. Like New York, the busiest time they have is the winter. You can't get a hotel room. There's no reason why we shouldn't be that busy in the winter. So my goal is to really give Never Done, Never Outdone, like to get people to have Chicago compete more for winter travelers.
Mhm.
So that's exciting. And then Off of the Love, like we'll see where Chicago takes it. I mean, it's crazy how much it's, evolving. And so I'll ride that wave with the rest of the city.
So,
All right. We always end with 8 rapid fire questions.
Ooh,
Okay. You can try and answer these in just a few words. You ready?
yes.
All right. Get rid of one forever, meetings or email.
Email.
your favorite corporate slang?
Jumpy. I've been using jumpy
Jump.
lately.
Jumpy. You've been jumpy.
Jump.
Yeah. Okay.
Describe yourself under pressure in one word.
Zany.
Oh,
When focused on working, background noise or complete silence?
Complete silence.
your go-to inspiration source when you're stuck.
The internet.
Okay. Morning person or night owl?
Night.
Which do you champion, creative or data?
Creative.
Okay. And then your dream non-marketing job.
I want to be an archaeologist.
I thought you were going to say lovable.
No,
Yeah.
no, they're archaeologist. Fascinated. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fun.
Yeah.
Archaeologist. Okay.
I was gonna say dancer, but I didn't. That was too. I was gonna keep you on your toes.
Okay.
Yep. Did I do okay?
Did
You did
great.
great.
Yeah. Good.
Before we let you go, anything you want to mention about All for the Love of Chicago or anything else going on? Any plugs you?
Whew. Well, this is great. I love talking about marketing with marketing folks. I think the biggest thing is for people that are listening to this, maybe in Chicago, is to just realize that they're our best brand advocates.
Yep.
So from brand to brand people, my biggest strengths are the people who live here and love on this city, good and bad. And just if anyone's looking for inspiration on how to explore their city, I do every single day. Check out our website, choosechicago.com.
Cool. Well, we'll have links in the description so
Great.
everyone can get to them.
And
Awesome.
thanks for joining.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
All you listeners out there, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.
See ya.
I feel like I fell in love with Chicago all over again.
I agree.
You know, one thing I think we forget, we watch these campaigns from Chicago as Chicagoans, and there's a lot that it speaks to us about. It's a little therapy for us, I
Yeah,
think. Um, but the campaigns are intended to be global. Like the goal is
mm,
not to talk to us, but to
right,
talk for us.
right.
And so when we think about these campaigns, they are being pushed not only just across the country, but across the globe. And so these are the messages that are going out about
Yeah,
our great city.
and I think what's really great about what she's doing with those campaigns is we believe it. I mean, this is coming from I mean, we didn't have anything to do with it, but there's a little bit of pride there. And I think that's followed her through her career. Like the
Mhm.
work that she's done is something that she cares about. And then I want to say the team, but the company, who she's promoting cares about it also.
Well, I think it stems from that purpose that she talks about, like
Right.
having this kind of guidepost, this North Star of the things that she knows everybody is going to rally around.
Yeah.
And if you can get everyone to rally around it, it's resonating with that core group. And then you can push it out. Right. And I think that's what she's been doing so well.
She's been, yeah, great. Really resume to envy for sure.
Yeah. The Queen of Chicago.
Queen of Chicago. All right. It's great talking to you, Chris.
Yeah. Always. Till next time, buddy.